Hello everyone. We will be solving the problem maximum gap between stations. Before we start, a quick quote of the day. One day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you always wanted to do, right? So do it now. Either be it achieving your dreams, whatever dream you had, achieving good ratings on LeetCode, code forces, anything. It could be anything, getting a dream job, right? You should never procrastinate things because you never know when the time has gone, right? So the most important thing should not be just to get your dream. It should be that you hustled hard towards it and you don't live in guilt that hey, what could have happened if I have worked harder, right? So get up and achieve your dreams, right? At least work towards your dreams, right? Because we know that we don't have the consequences of the results in our hands, but the path which we choose is definitely in our hands, right? So work towards your dream. Let's read the problem statement. The problem statement says that you are given two strings, skills and station of length n and m respectively. Skills of I represent the skill of the worker I and station of j represent the skill supported by the station j. You must assign every worker to a distinct station. Let ji be the index of the station assigned to the worker I. A valid assignment must satisfy the following condition. Station of ji should be equal to scale of I. I will explain what does this mean. The assigned station indices must be strictly increasing in order, meaning J0 should be less than J1, should be less than J2, and so on and so forth. Right? The gap of an assignment is the maximum difference between the station indices assigned to two consecutive workers. In other words, it is the maximum of Ji minus Ji minus 1 over all I, right? If there is only one worker, the gap is 0. Return the maximum possible gap among all valid assignments. It is guaranteed that one valid assignment exists, right? So let's take a test case, double A and 4A's, right? So let's take it. Double A is the skills which we have, and the stations were 4A's, right? So in this case, what you could do, this A needs a station which is A, right? Let's say we assign this A to this, right? And this second worker or second skill could be assigned to this A, right? Now, if you look at the indices, this is zeroth index, this is first, this is second, this is third, right? So this one got 0, this one got 3. So the difference between them is equal to 3, right? Which is the maximum difference which we can achieve, right? This is what the problem wanted to state. The problem wanted to state that you had the skills, right? This A, the ith character, should reside to station of any character, but they should be same. The first condition was this. The second condition was, let's say if you assign this A to, let's take a different case so that we can understand it. Let's say XYZ, and let's take A B C XYZ, right? And let's take a Y as well here as well, right? Instead of this C, let's make this a Y, right? Great. Yes. Now what we are saying is, let's say for this X you choose, okay, I will take this X. For this Y you can't choose this Y. This is wrong because the first X had already taken up this place. Then the second Y needs to take the element which is strictly in increasing order or next to the index which we have already chosen, right? You can't go behind and take the Y, right? So I hope the problem statement was pretty self-explanatory. Still we had taken, let's take one more test case so that we can have a more clarity. XYZ and XY double Z, right? XYZ XY double Z, right? So for this X you are bound to have this, for this Y you are bound to have this, for this Z you can go till this one, right? So 0 1 2 3, 3 minus 1 is the maximum difference, which is 2, that you can have, right? What are the differences which will have? So the X will have 0, the second Y will have 1 indices assigned, and the Z has indices 3. So differences are 0 minus 1 and 3 minus 1, or rather 1 minus 0 or 3 minus 1, right? I hope this makes sense to you, right? So the maximum which you will get from here is 2, right? So let's talk about how are we going to solve it, right? So let's consider a random string. I have taken a test case already so that we can have work on it, right? So the skill is ABCD and the station is AB XX XX CDCD, right? Now think of this. For this A, if I want uh, for this A, what can this A, what positions the A can take, right? This can take this one, but it needs to make sure that the BCD also have the right opportunity, or BCD can fit if I take this A, right? This is the condition. If I take this B, what are the possibilities? You can take this B, if any more B's were there, you can have it, but you need to make sure that CD should also, it means should fit in this one, right? So the condition is very simple. The first condition is, the first claim rather which I want to have with you is, hey, how about first, let's not, before making a claim, let's talk a bit more of what I want to say, right? Let's say for this A can have a difference with only this B. This A won't have any relation with this C with the difference, right? Let's say this was at index, let's call this as index answer 1. This was at answer 2. This is at answer 3, right? So you tell me one thing, does these two have any relation? No. The only relation is between two consecutive elements, right? Now, to have the consecutive elements as big consecutive element as big as possible, what can we think of? As big as possible, what can we think of? Making sure that everything is correct, right? Sure that the BCD gets the exact correct positions, right? BCD does not get excluded, right? This is also we need to make sure. So what I can say is, hey, really sorry, how about placing the A as left as possible, as left as possible, and placing B as right as possible? This would give us the maximum possible differences among them. Let's say if A was at this indices, right? I want to place this A as left as possible and this B as right as possible, so that the difference between these two should be maximum, right? Difference can be maximized, right? How about doing this for every consecutive character, doing it for every consecutive character? And if we do it for every consecutive character, then we can make sure that whatever the maximum out of all of them we get is the maximum answer. Does that make sense to you? If yes, do drop a yes in the comments. Right now, the problem statement is very clear. For every indices, we need to find what is the leftmost place I can place it, and for this, for every character, I need to find what is the rightmost place I can place it. Right, rightmost where I can place it, and the leftmost where I can place it. These are the true things which are definitely needed by us. Right now, how will we do this? Now the problem statement becomes very easy to us. Right, let's see. A B C D, right? What was our example? A B C D and A B 4x C D and C D, right? So let's see, if I want to place this A, what is the leftmost possible place where this A can be? This can be at index 0, right? What is the leftmost where this B can be? That is 1, right? Let me mark these as well, so that this doesn't make a problem. Do subscribe as well while I'm writing this. Yes. So now for B, right? B we had written 1 is the answer. For this C, what is the leftmost you can have? It is 8. And for this D, what is the leftmost you can have is 9, right? Now let's talk about the rightmost value. How can we find the rightmost value? Think of this. To make sure that to make sure that A is on the rightmost, we need to make sure that D is also placed on the rightmost value, right? So how can we say? We will start from the very end, from this array, or from this string. We will start from the very end of this string as well, so that we can get the clarity that D should be placed, the rightmost part where the D can be placed is 11, right? So we'll place 11 at this place. For this C, what is the rightmost place you can have it? It is 10. For this B, what is the rightmost place you can have it? It is 3. And for this A, what is the rightmost place you can have it? It is 2. Right now we have two strings, two arrays, left and right. Now let's say we had A B C D, right? Let me change the color so that it has a more bit clarity. Yeah, so let's say we had A B C D, right? So to have the difference, we will say, hey, place the A as left as possible and place this B as right as possible. On the next step, we will say, hey, place this B as left as possible and place this C as right as possible, so that the difference between B and C becomes as large as possible, right? Because we are making sure that every character is fitting on the left and right. So there is no uh, thought of getting neglected by any character, right? So what we can say, we can do this for every indices. We will find what is the leftmost for the character I and what is the rightmost for character I plus 1, right? For in this case, you will see B's leftmost is 1 and C's rightmost is 10, right? So the difference becomes 10 minus 1, which is 9. So 9 will be the difference. We will take a test case which is given, so that you don't think that, hey, you just fooled us, right? Do we have something better? We can take this, right? CBC and DBC, right? Okay, so it is CBC, CBC, DBC, right? This was the string, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So let's quickly build the left and right, right? So the left for this will be 0. B leftmost is 1. You can go ahead with yourself as well. And 2. For the rightmost value, we can have the rightmost C where you can place it is this, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you can place it at 5. Rightmost B where you can place is 4. And rightmost C where you can place is 2, right? Now the problem is leftmost 0 minus rightmost of B, which is 4. So 0 minus 4 is 4. Did we make some mistake? No, I think we are on the right path. Okay, for this character the leftmost value is 1, right? And the rightmost is 5. So 5 minus 1, this should be 4 minus 0. Sorry, it is 4, right? And for this we can't have a rightmost value, so we end at this place. So the difference that you can have is 4. And how can this be done? How will the string look like? So the first character should be at 0, that is C. So you will take this C, right? Or assign this C to this one, right? Let me have it. Yeah, for this B you will assign this at this place, and for this C you will assign this at this place, right? Now see, the difference between them is 4 in this case. That is a maximum you can achieve. So I hope the logic was clear to you. Let's quickly look into the code so that we can understand the code as well. If you have any doubts till this part, you can definitely ask in the comments. I would love to help you out. Great. So let's quickly look at the code. So we have nm, we have left right, right? We will start from j equal to 0. We go from every element of I to n, which is for skills, right? We will take the character and if we will travel until we get that character, right? So I hope this is pretty obvious. Let's say if you had the let's take the third case, right? So let's say if we had this one, right? So we will, for the leftmost character, we will start traversing from 0 and will traverse until we get the first occurrence of C, right? That is this one. So we will carry on for every skills of I, right? For this C you will get this C, for this B you will get this B, and for this C you will get this leftmost at this C, right? So we are storing this via this way, right? For this rightmost value we will start from this place, right? For I equal to n minus 1, j also starts from this place, so j equal to m minus 1, right? And we do the same procedure here as well, right? And after this, what we are doing, int left value is equal to left of I, right value is equal to right of I plus 1. Why? Because we saw that left will be this one, right? Right value will be the next one, because for every character you want two consecutive, the difference will be between the two consecutive values, right? So that is the reason you are taking left of this and right of this, right? And after this you will simply say, hey, the difference will be right value minus left value, and the maximum will be maximum out of all of them, right? So I hope the solution was clear to you. If you look at the time constraints of the problem, it is simply big O of n, right? And we are using two vectors to store, so space complexity becomes big O of n plus m, which is big O of n only, right? So this was the whole problem solution. If you understood the problem, you can definitely do a subscribe and like as well. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments. I would love to help you out. Thanks for watching.